So thank you everyone for joining. Some of you are Perpetua clients, some of you are Nectar clients, and some of you guys just want to learn more about organic growth on Amazon. It's a really important topic and something that should be at the forefront of everyone's Amazon strategies. Uh, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Patrick. I'm a strategic brand partnership manager here at Perpetua. I help brands leverage all ad units on Amazon, ranging from sponsored to DSP, to achieve their growth objectives. One of my favorite clients is Jason. He's been with us for several months now, and he's been using our platform to help power his agency's advertising. And I'll let him give a little bit of an intro on himself here.
Thanks. We obviously operate an Amazon consulting agency. Our bread and butter is doing full service consulting, so running the Amazon accounts of established brand owners and manufacturers. We specialize in managing large catalogs. We've been able to use Perpetua with great success to optimize the advertising for those large catalogs. So it's been a great partnership so far.
Awesome. And a topic that we both feel very passionately about is making sure that brands and sellers are doing everything in their power to help drive organic growth. You know, advertising is great, but you're still paying for those sales. We want to make sure that you understand how to unlock the power and the freedom of free organic impressions and sales on Amazon. So with that said, we wanted to give everyone a little bit of a brief understanding of what organic rank is and why it's important on Amazon. So some of you might be very familiar with the concept. Some of you, this might be brand new. But what organic rank is the position on which your product appears on an Amazon search results page, excluding the sponsored placements. So for you guys familiar with this search results page, you'll see these little sponsored tabs here. So these are paid placements. These are the first organic listings, meaning the placements that are coming up without paying for that sponsored spot. So here you'll see 1, 2, and 3. Why is organic rank important? Well, the higher you're ranking organically, the better position on the page you're going to get. The better position on the page you get, you'll get 3 things. 1, you'll get more impressions organically. More impressions organically will lead to higher organic sales. The more eyes you get, assuming you have a somewhat consistent conversion rate, you'll start selling more for free. And then what does that mean? Well, when you start selling more organically, you signal to Amazon that you're relevant for those keywords. Relevancy goes into their bidding process, meaning you're going to pay a lower CPC in the long run for the exact same keywords you've already been bidding on. So 3 very important outcomes coming from better and increasing organic rank. Looking back at that search results page, just think about it. Which one would you be? Would you rather be 1, 2, or 3, where you're appearing for free in the same spot that someone's probably paying $1, $2, $3, $4 for? So when you kind of break it down, it makes sense that anyone and everyone would want to be one of these blue slots where you're just, appearing for free because Amazon knows how good of a product you are and how relevant you are to the consumer for that search term. So we're going to ask a little poll here to all of our viewers. Has organic rank been a focus of your Amazon strategy to date? This is going to be a yes, no. So if you have some free time, just go ahead and click. Give it a couple seconds here. Great. So about 75% have said that it has been a priority, actually coming down a little bit now. So about 74% say yeah, 26% no. I think the goal of this webinar would be, as you leave this, we'd want 100% of people to say, hey, this is an important metric and something that should be at the forefront of our Amazon strategy. So going forward, what are some relevance factors that make up organic rank? So how are you going, what are you going to change that's going to allow you to grow your products organically on keywords? Well, we've starred some here. You'll listen to podcasts about the A8, the A9, the A10, the A20 algorithms. No one really knows what they're talking about. What we've done is parse through all of our data. So across thousands of accounts, millions and millions of dollars of spend, we kind of look what factors correlate with increasing organic rank. The two starred are probably the most important, and everything can almost be classified as a subset of conversion rate and click-through rate. So conversion rate, obviously reviews would influence conversion rate, your sales velocity would influence conversion rate, your price points can influence conversion rate as well as click-through rate. So while all of these factors are important and things that you can influence, it all boils down to really your conversion rate and your click-through rate. So they're going to be the focus of how do we actually increase our organic rank? How are we going to influence those variables such that we can, increase them and then in turn increase our organic rank? So we wanted to break this down into two segments. So the first is going to be what Jason touches on, and it's all about building a great foundation with your product listings, your storefront, your brands. If you have bad listings, if you have a bad storefront, you're just putting yourself in a worse position to have good conversion rates and good click-through rates. So that's kind of, the binary yes or no. Like if you don't have good product pages, good listings, there's really no point in running sponsored ads as a way of ranking. Sure, you might have some success, but if you truly want to excel on Amazon, you need that beautiful foundation first. And then once Jason goes over how to get yourself set up for success, we're going to talk about sponsored advertising and how to add fuel to the fire in ways of organic ranking strategies and how to leverage that through sponsored product ads on Amazon. So without further ado, I will let Jason take over and talk about how to build a great foundation with your product pages.
Yeah, thank you very much, Patrick. And it's definitely correct. You need to have the beautiful foundation, a good foundation to make sure that the traffic you're driving, that you're giving yourself the best chance to convert that traffic. So just want to start out with a little poll. Since launching on Amazon, have you spent time optimizing and iterating on your listings? So I believe we have three options. The first would be, you're doing it frequently, weekly, monthly, infrequently, quarterly, rarely, or never would be you set up your listing and then you kind of let it go and haven't optimized it since. So give it another second. We're getting some more votes in here. It actually seems to be a pretty even distribution among everyone. It actually looks like infrequently won out slightly. But we got 29% of you saying that you rarely or never update your listings, and frequently is 33%. So looks like we've got a span all across the board. And we're going to go into why it's really important to make sure you're doing this on a regular basis. So as I discussed, driving traffic is one aspect that you need to master, but you also need to make sure you're converting that traffic. You're giving yourself the best chance to convert that traffic. So the way that we like to look at it at our agency, and I stress this to our account managers, copywriters, our designers, is think about how the customers browse on Amazon. So put yourself in the shoes of the customer. So what do you do when you go on Amazon? What is your browsing behavior? How long do you look at images? Do you skip certain things based on how they look? If it's a wall of text and bullets, do you read those bullets? There's a ton of text on an infographic. Do you read the text or do you skip over it? Or do you bounce off the landing page? How do you browse on mobile versus desktop? They look very different. So you need to make sure that, unfortunately, unlike your own website, you can't have a mobile theme and a desktop theme. It's one size fits all. So you have to make sure that you're catering to both. There are definitely elements of high quality listings and storefronts. You need to have stunning photography. You need to keep it simple. You don't want this to be homework. You don't want the customer's shopping experience to be homework or hard or have friction. You need to keep it simple. And you need good copy. I see a lot of listings that focus too much on technical specs. Customers, if they want the tech specs, they'll go to the middle of the page to find them, which is where, and you put that information in the back end. Unless it's really relevant or a niche, you want to focus on those unique value propositions, the benefits. You also want to have a cohesive brand image, right? Customers aren't getting to touch or see your product. I'm sorry, getting to touch or feel your product. All they get to do is judge the book by its cover. So they also don't just go on one page and buy, they're browsing. Most customers take at least 5 actions before making a purchase. So you have to make sure that your listings are unified if they're browsing through your catalog. And you obviously need a competitive price, and I think that goes without saying. But there is definitely a misconception that only cheap products sell on Amazon. We have a number of clients who are the highest priced sellers in their niche and do very well. But to do that, you need to have content that matches your price point. So I'd say there are 3 keys to having stunning brand content. It needs to be professional, it needs to be captivating, it needs to be simple. And if you can boil each of these down to these philosophical, psychological principles: ethos, pathos, and logos. Ethos is your credibility, pathos is creativity, and logos is logic. Right? So again, going back to the fact that all customers get to do is judge the book by its cover. So you need to have professional photography. And you see a lot of people out there taking pictures on their iPhone and having user-generated content. That's not really what customers want to see when they're buying something, especially if you're the higher priced seller in your niche. You need to have the most professional footprint, captivating. You need your photography to be interesting. You need it to stand out. There's so many options. How are you going to differentiate yourself? So you need to have something that pops, but your copy also has to be engaging, captivating, and simple. Again, customers don't want to work hard to buy something. They want to know why they should buy this product and make sure they get the essential information to answer any common concerns that they have. And that's all you need to do. You don't have to overdo it. So I like to approach listing optimization and account optimization in the way that the customer journey takes place. So when you buy something on Amazon, you typically enter a keyword search, or you go to Amazon.com and you enter a keyword search, you browse the results, you click into the listing, you browse the listing, you click through some other listings, and then you usually make a purchase. So keeping that kind of framework in mind, we're going to go through that journey, right? So the first thing the customer sees is the main image. And we see a lot of people doing this wrong. So one, it has to be high resolution. It needs to be professional, right? I saw a picture the other day. It was half the image was on a white background, half of it wasn't. That's going to kill your click-through rate. You want to take up as much of the frame as possible. This is especially important on mobile. I'll show you an example of why. And you want to differentiate so that you stand out in the pack. So here on mobile, these are some good examples. You have a keyboard mouse here. You can see that even without this Amazon's Choice badge, this mouse stands out more, right? It takes up most of the frame here, whereas this one, it doesn't. It's set back. It's a landscape view, and this is portrait. And so when a customer is browsing, this catches my eye. Same thing with this one. This catches my eye more than this one, right? Because it's taking up more of the frame. So this is going to stop the scroll more than this or this one. Same thing here, this Pringles pack. Yeah, you can barely see this compared to here, or even this. And so you need to make sure that your pictures are taking up the entire frame, because it'll affect your click-through rate. And this takes some time. There's no way around it. What I touched on earlier is the differences between desktop and mobile. The layout's very different. You get a lot more information on desktop because there's a lot more surface area. So here, going back to this mouse, you only get the title and the picture for mobile, whereas on desktop, you get the title, you have the bullet points, you see the different color variations, you see all of the images. So when you're crafting your title, you have to keep that in mind, that on mobile, customers are only going to see really your title. And again, what I don't like here is that this is a kind of a big block of text. It's really hard for people to read. You want your most important keywords to be in your title, but you have to do a balancing act. So here, they have PC, laptop. Quite frankly, customers who buy a wireless mouse expect it to work with a desktop computer and a laptop computer. And if your computer doesn't have a USB port at this point, you probably need to upgrade your computer, right? So it's almost assumed. And they're never going to rank on page one for PC or laptop because it's a mouse. They don't, yeah, PC and laptop, they're going to have PCs and laptops. So these words are unnecessary. Same thing here. This is too technical, right? So you have 200 characters for your title in most categories. Apparel is an exception. I think it's 80 in some sub-apparel categories. But you have to find a balance. You probably want it over 100 characters. You don't want to be much over 150. You have to find that balance. So kind of, again, touching on the rules that you approach that I just talked about for a title, you apply those to bullets as too. You apply those to bullets as well. You don't want to have too much text. You don't want a wall of text. So Amazon has actively made changes to reduce text on the page. In almost a little over a year ago, in almost every category, you're allowed 500 bytes, which is essentially characters, including spaces and the bullet points. And last year, in almost every category, except a handful, they reduced that to 100 bytes per bullet point. And the reason is they realize that customers don't want to read long block text. Also, again, you need to make sure you're selling customers on the benefits and what matters, not technical specs. So here, this is a wall of text, right? If I land on this page, this is too much. It's overwhelming, right? I don't know where to start. This doesn't encourage me to read, right? And on mobile, it's even worse. This, again, feels like a homework assignment. Here, they're making it easier on you. This is actually a little more than 100 bytes because it's breaking onto a second line. But I like that you have these headlines that guide you. And then if you want, and they matter to the customer, right? Customers care about the care instructions for pillows. They want to know that it's comfortable. They also want to know what they get. Does it come with a cover? Does it not, right? Cloud-like experience. So you can then look at these headers essentially and decide, do I want to read more? And so they're making it easy. This listing also has great infographics that are really simple in the same kind of way. So again, you just want to make it easy on the customer. Every customer, you can figure out, hey, what are the most common questions or issues that the customers have. But every customer is going to be a little bit different. So you just have to have the information there for the customer if they want it. And again, they didn't get too technical. They put the dimensions because that's probably the most important thing. If there are more technical specs that you can put in the back end and you can scroll down and see them on the detail page. So customers know that if they want that hyper technical information, they can scroll down and get it. And the photography, the same principles kind of apply. Keeping it simple, less is more. So I'm actually start with the last one. Keeping that in mind, you want to have a good balance of product photography, infographics, and lifestyle photos. You want your customers, your target audience, to imagine themselves using your product, right? Because they're not going to be in the store holding and touching your product. You have to communicate this to them through imagery and video. And I heard this once, Instagramify your listing. I think it's a great approach. Having a good mix of product photography, infographics, lifestyle photos, varying the order so it's not all product photos, then all infographics and lifestyle photos. Right? You're trying to create a feeling with your photos that tells a story. So here, I actually pulled this from the listing we just looked at, and you can, this is a big one for me, is how long do you spend looking at photos on Amazon? I spend 1 to 2 seconds. And most people, when I ask them without giving them the primer, give me about the same answer. Say, I swipe through as long as it takes me to swipe through, maybe a little bit more. Right? So you need to make sure you're putting a limited amount of information that can be digested in 1 to 2 seconds. So here I recognize a washer machine that triggers me to think, okay, this is about care instructions. and hypoallergenic. People care about that, right? No wool. So I can look at this and get all the information I need in 1 to 2 seconds. And this listing did a great job with the other infographics as well. This is an example of what not to do. So all these things are great, right? They have employees based in Florida, so they're US based, they have a 10-year warranty, they don't pay for reviews, invest in local community, here's their story. But one, my eye doesn't know where to go when I look at this image. Am I looking at the people? Am I reading the thing? Do I look at the 4 logos? So that delays me right there. 2, it's a lot of work. After I focus, I gotta look at this, then I gotta read this. Do you actually spend that much time looking at product photos in Amazon? I don't. Everyone I've polled tells me they don't. And they have A+ content where they can put this brand story where it really belongs. Also, if you're US based, you should have a symbol that resonates with your viewers that they recognize, it's familiar. So you should have a red, white, and blue flag. Instantly, I think USA, right? So this is blue and white. I don't think USA when I look at this. So they should be able to look at this. I see this warranty symbol. I recognize that's the warranty symbol, right? Small biz, same thing. But I would take this infographic and I would cut this and focus on these 4, maybe surrounding it around this photo, right? And making this a USA flag. So they're just trying to do too much here. That's the problem. And your A+ content, you more or less want to follow a formula, right? So they were trying, that brand was trying to do everything in one where they can tell their brand story in A+ content. You can connect the brand to the customer. You also want to make sure it's easy to digest the information, just like the infographics and the bullet points. And because if you have a large catalog, you don't want to do a unique A+ module for every single listing. You want to have consistency in branding where you can have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 templates and apply some of the same elements across all those templates and only make minor changes. And most important, you get free advertising real estate with A+ content. So I see a lot of people who don't take advantage of that. They're just telling a story and some info about the product, but cross-sell your other products, your other related products. Have customers, it's much more prominent on mobile too. So if you cross-sell, there's a cross-sell, I think there are 2 cross-sell modules for A+ content. That's free advertising. So here, sorry, it's a little fast, but you can see here, they're cross-selling on the bottom and doing a good job of, oops, let me go back. They're doing a good job of using these call-outs, windproof, waterproof, easy tie, right? So those are things when I look at it quickly, I know that what the benefits are, what the features are. I would say I'd like them to cut down on the text a little bit, but what they do a good job of is they make sure to have clear headers, right? So you see about the warranty, you have a header about the warranty. Well, if I want to know about that warranty, I know to look there. Or the hook and fastening, right? Then if I want to know more about how that hook and fastening, if that feature matters to me, then I know where to read about it more. So if you want to include more text, because hey, we get a ton of questions about this, so we should put it in our A+ content, make sure to have clear headers, direct the customer to where the customer wants to go to get that information. That way, if they don't need it, they don't have to sift through information that's irrelevant to them. And these principles also apply to a brand store. And we see a lot of success with running traffic to brand stores, especially larger catalogs. We call it upsell utopia, because you can really get customers to buy a lot more if you organize your product catalog well. Especially if you have a large catalog, it's really important. So I think of a brand store like software. You want to make sure the user can get to where he or she needs to go with as few clicks as possible. And to me, that's the way you should approach the brand store as well. Like keeping in mind, you don't have to do as much selling. These people have high buying intent because they're on Amazon. So you just need to help them get to where they want to go. I also see a lot of people just having too many images and not enough text. I think you should only be doing that if you're keeping it really simple. And I'll show you a good example of that for large catalog. And you should incorporate video as much as possible to give it a dynamic element. So this is a brand everyone knows, Levi's. They have a large catalog, so many size and style variations, but they do a really good job here, right? So I land on their storefront, and if I'm a man and I want men's, boom, I'm going here. I'm a woman, I want women's clothing, big and tall, right? They make it really easy. And then when you click into these, you're there, you're ready to browse, right? So they keep it organized, and they're somewhat shamelessly plugging their cloth face masks right now, which is something you can do. You can make in season or seasonal updates or changes. And here's a video. If you want to learn more about Levi's, their brand, it's there for you. If you want to shop, which is why you're here and what they're putting first and foremost, boom, right? And Levi's doesn't have to tell its brand story as much. They have so much brand recognition. But if you don't have the brand recognition Levi's has, then maybe tell a little bit about your brand. Are you American made? Do you have a charitable element? Right? You can work that in there. But at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you're keeping this in a really organized and easy to use manner. And you can have sale items. You can create a page, right? So let's just say if you're running a Father's Day sale, boom, you can put that right here, Father's Day sale, right? So also designing your storefront in a way that you can make those seasonal changes if your product line lends itself to that is something that's important, because storefronts take a lot of time to do to do it the right way, if especially if you have a large catalog. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Patrick to talk about having the traffic.
Thank you, Jason. That was very informative and really demonstrates all the things you can do with your brand pages, with your listings. There's so many variables you can play with. It would be an unwise decision to not be optimizing all of those variables. Something that I like to think about is like, you can bring someone to a well, but you can't make them drink. If you bring someone to a well and it's filled with dirty water, which is bad listings, bad brand pages, of course they're not going to drink. Whereas if you have a well with Fiji water, everyone's going to be wanting to drink as much water as possible. So the well is really your foundation, your product pages, your brand store, and now we can use ads to actually bring people to your well. I did notice we had a question about, will this be available for future viewing? Yes, this is going to be recorded and sent out. We are also going to post a blog post about this section here, as well as some pointers from Jason's section. So now that we have a great foundation, we have a great storefront, how do we actually leverage advertising to bring people to our pages, bring people to our listings, and generate momentum in the proverbial Amazon flywheel and on organic rank? So the base theory behind increasing organic rank with sponsored ads is you start buying sponsored ads, you're going to get more impressions. More impressions should lead to more conversions, assuming that you have good product pages, as we just mentioned. The most important thing that we've noticed of all of the data that we've done in terms of organic rank and correlation to sponsored ads is to understand that not all placements are the same. So within a sponsored product ad and a sponsored product campaign, you can be bidding on top of search, rest of search, and product page. What we found is that top of search conversions are a much, much stronger signal to the Amazon algorithm compared to the more browsing orientated rest of search and product page. So looking at a scroll here, you'll see again, the top of search are these placements up top. The other placements appear much lower down the page. Our theory is that Amazon has audience-based algorithms where if you're buying from the top of search, that's a stronger signal that that product would be good right beside it in the top organic spots, versus some of these lower placements down here, which indicate the consumer has been browsing down the pages with a product page, they'd even be clicking into a listing and then finding the product from that listing. So in terms of providing relevance and providing more data for their ranking algorithms, the top of search will disproportionately affect that. So when we're thinking about how are we going to leverage sponsored ads, we need to be focusing basically exclusively on top of search, while not forgetting about rest of search or product page for driving good efficiency if they are doing such. So we're going to launch a poll here and say, of our users, how many have you guys actually ran a top of search ranking campaign thus far? Give it a couple more seconds here. All right, so it looks like the majority of people haven't actually ran a top of search ranking campaign thus far. Not your guys' fault at all. It's not a very intuitive thing to do with Amazon. It's great to see that a bunch of you guys have tried, and I hope when you have tried, you've seen success, because they can be very, very successful. So what we want to do now is teach you guys how to actually launch a top of search ranking campaign. So the first thing in determining, how are we going to run this top of search ranking campaign is what keyword do you guys actually want to rank for. Some metrics that we like to look at and advise our clients to use when determining is this keyword worth investing in is these three stats here. So does it have high daily search volume? So are you going to see a large market to potentially capture if you were to rank on this keyword? Obviously, the higher the search volume, the more competitive it's going to be, but the greater results and greater return it would have in the long run. There still are benefits to ranking on lower search volume keywords, but generally we suggest initially going for large category keywords. Second would be high relevance to your product. So if I'm selling an iPhone case, although Android case might have really high search volume, it doesn't make sense for me to try and rank on Android case, because sure, they're in the same overall field, but I'm not an Android case, I'm an iPhone case. So make sure it's relevant. And then three, if you're already ranking extremely high organically, there might not be a lot of additional incremental growth done by ranking on these keywords. So something, even if you're ranked 5th, sure, you could experiment with it, but something to be more cognizant of and definitely become more fine-tuned on the parameters of your experiment when you're going to run one of these ranking campaigns. So for the purpose of this webinar, I actually recently got gifted this wireless charger. I loved it. I went on the Belkin Amazon storefront. They have an amazing store page, great brand content, great listings. So I was like, hey, I wonder how this product's ranking organically when I was thinking about building out this webinar. And I realized it's not even on the first page of wireless chargers. So I was like, what a great opportunity where, we have something with great store page, great listings, but could benefit from this type of ranking campaign. So for the purpose of this experiment, we're going to be using this product as our test dummy. So first, we're looking for hero keywords. So let's say we need to find a keyword that hits all three of those criteria. There are 3 places we could look. So first is going to be your existing ad data. So I took a screenshot from Perpetua. I made a fake goal in our app for this ASIN and just added some keywords. So if this was your real product, you'd have a bunch of data. You could say, hey, maybe iPhone 11 charger has been my hero keyword, high search volume. I'm not ranking high, but I'm really high relevance. So you can look in your existing data to determine what a good candidate would be for this type of experiment. Second would be brand analytics. So note, not every seller has access to brand analytics, but if you are an advertiser and have brand registry, you can search here. So here, I just searched the keyword wireless charger. I can see the search rank of all of these keywords, as well as the ASINs that are currently ranking on it. So here I can see a list of category keywords related to wireless charger that all would be good candidates. We generally recommend anything above 50,000, or sorry, below. So closer to 1, the higher rank, the more searches it has per month. So anything below 50,000 is going to be of substantial volume. The other way you can search is by competitor ASIN. So here you can see I just took the first ASIN from the wireless charger, whoever's ranking first on wireless charger, and search by the ASIN. This will give us all of the search terms here that ASIN is ranking in the top 3 organically on, as well as the search rank. So, I searched wireless charger and we didn't have key charger come up, but we are in fact a key charger as well. So this would be another great candidate. So by searching these two methods and combining it with your existing data, you're going to have a very thorough data set to go and experiment with. So now we choose a keyword. So for the purpose of this experiment, I'm just going to choose wireless charger. It's the top ranked keyword. We now need to see, is our product going to be competitive on this keyword? It might be the case that everyone is super low priced or super high priced on this keyword. So if I'm a $40 wireless charger and every charger in the top 100 is $8, it's going to be tough to break in there because that indicates to me that the consumer is very price conscious. So we need to make sure, one, we're at least in a competitive price range. Two is going to be reviews. Maybe this is a legacy keyword that, you've had sellers since the beginning of Amazon on. Everyone has 25,000 reviews. Sure, you have 500 reviews, but I mean, are you going to compete with 25,000? Maybe, but less likely. And then three, listing relevance. So is my listing relevant to that keyword search? So maybe I am a charger, but I'm showing photos of iPhones or something, where every other listing on that keyword is showing photos of the charger. I'm going to have probably a pretty low click-through rate because my listing isn't relevant for what people are searching on. So let's go and evaluate that keyword wireless charger. So first I'm going to look at who's winning top of search right now. So the two products winning top of search is one, that first organically ranked product we looked at. So looking at them, we can say, okay, they're $11.95. We're significantly higher price than them. We probably wouldn't index well against them in terms of pricing. But hey, the guy who's winning the second top of search only has 20 reviews, is priced higher than mine, and isn't actually the product that people are looking for, right? A wireless charger, everyone in the top 100 looks like us with these wireless pads. This seems like a kind of flimsy type product, not really relevant. So we index well in terms of reviews, price, and listing. So I think in terms of winning the top ad spots, this would be a good candidate for our product. The next is going to be the top 5 organically ranked products. So will I index well against any of these products? So again, you can see here, in terms of price, we index well against the top 5. In terms of reviews, we'd be on the lower end, but we're higher than the Samsung here. And then in terms of listing quality, we are what people are searching for on this keyword. So the fact that the Samsung key charger is 4th organically signals to me there's no reason our product couldn't be ranked 4th organically. We have more reviews, we're better price, and we're the exact same product. So great, this is a good keyword. There's no reason we couldn't be beating Samsung, so it's worth experimenting with. So now we've gone through kind of the keyword vetting process. How are we actually going to win top of search? How are we going to go out and create a ranking campaign? So in Perpetua, we ask you to do this through what we call Keyword Boost. It's a feature that's available where within any given goal that you're running, so any given campaign that you're running, you can select the keyword and launch what we call a boost. So here we selected wireless charger. You could add as many keywords as you like per boost. I generally recommend being granular and running 1 boost per keyword so that you have a very easy and concise analysis of each keyword. We then ask you to give it a target ACoS, so a bid price, as well as a top of search multiplier. So the automatic multiplier will be AI powered. Our engine will go out and determine what's the most efficient top of search multiplier. But if you have strong intuitions about how much you want to be spending on top of search, you can apply these multipliers here. And if you have specific ranking strategies, we can actually change this in the back end to go as high as 900%. What this looks like in Amazon is as follows. So within your existing campaign, you would pause that keyword. You would then launch a new campaign with that individual keyword you want to rank on. And then you're going to set a low bid price with a high top of search multiplier. So what this allows you to do is effectively funnel your spend towards that top of search. So let's say you want it to be bidding $10 on a keyword for a top of search, but you don't want to be spending too much on rest of search or product page. You could select a $1.10 bid and then apply a 900% multiplier. And then effectively you'd be bidding so much on the top of search while simultaneously not bidding super aggressively on the rest of search or product page. So in terms of setting up a ranking campaign, this is the best practice, at least from what we found. So once you go out and launch that campaign, generally you're not going to see results overnight, but this is kind of a bi-weekly, monthly process where you're going to iterate, maybe experiment bidding up 10, 20, 30%, maybe bidding down 10, 20, 30%. And then you're going to be analyzing other metrics. So the metrics that we look at in Perpetua are as follows. So I've kind of broken it down into metrics that we provide and the metrics that we provide plus you can find in Amazon. So something that we're super proud of is we've partnered with a third-party data source to provide organic rank data for all of your keywords. So obviously it's a ranking campaign. Hopefully we're going to see an increase in organic rank. That's what we're doing this for. So we'll track that, and you'll be able to track that daily. We actually pull that 5 times a day, and it's averaged across all geographies per marketplace. So I know there's a lot of belief that, you know, I might rank first in New York, but I might be ranked 5th in Los Angeles. We'll actually take the average across the entire US 5 times a day. So 1, seeing if that's increasing or decreasing. 2 is going to be your sponsored rank. So, you know, maybe before you're spending a lot on rest of search or product page, we want to make sure that you're ranking in the top 3 spots. So those top of search placements. 3 is going to be organic sales. If you get a higher organic rank and you don't sell more organically, was it worth getting the higher organic rank? So you want to make sure that that rank is correlated with an increase and a holistic lift in your sales. 4 is going to be share of voice data. So something that's more important to larger brands, but can be applicable and important to all brands and sellers, is what percentage of that page you're making up. So before you might have been page 2 and product page, so you're making up 0% of that first page. But if you're winning the top sponsor spot and then a spot further on down the page, maybe 5th, 10th, you should see an increase in share of voice, and something that's super important to measure as another metric of success. And then lastly is that top of search share of voice. So obviously if we're trying to buy more top of search placements, we should see our percentage of top of search increase. We should be winning that more and more percentage of the time, because again, that is what's going to in turn feed that organic rank, which is going to help all of the other metrics. Additionally, we like to look at blended day costs. So how much profitability can you sacrifice when you're running these campaigns? I'm sure it's worth it to invest for a little bit of time, but if you're finding yourself becoming unprofitable in the hope of gaining organic rank in the long run, then this probably isn't the best strategy. And analyzing all of these metrics is super important. So when I'm ranked 8th organically, how is my profitability? What's my total sales looking like? And analyzing that at each iteration and each organic rank that you are able to achieve. So obviously great that I'm just saying that, but I want to prove it to you that this actually does work, and we're not just saying this. So we worked with Hydrant, a super, super, super cool electrolyte powder. They were ranking on the 2nd page organically. They, you know, were advertising, but they weren't focusing too much on top of search. They were just looking for overall efficiency. We ran a keyword boost, which is that exact type of ranking strategy I just mentioned. And you'll see the results down here. So in the graph, we launched February 20th, and you'll see here just how much of an increase they saw, not only in organic sales, but organic rank, attributed sales, etc. So obviously we've broken that down here. So 100% increase in daily organic sales on the keyword electrolyte powder, 40% higher organic rank. We climbed. So we were winning 0 top of search share before to 25. And then our bestseller rank in electrolyte supplements went from 12,000 to 5,000, which, you know, for running this type of ranking strategy, just shows you how much of an impact you can have, even on really high volume, highly competitive keywords. So going forward, we wanted to touch not only on Amazon. So those are the ranking strategies we use for our sponsored ads. I wanted to touch briefly about the future of Perpetua and the future of our product. I know a lot of people have been talking about the Amazon Attribution, and something that we have open to select beta for some of our clients is including off of Amazon data to help you rank. So we've been running some Amazon attribution for about 10 clients, and we're running this through Google Ads as well as Facebook. So just showing you a little bit of glimpse of the future for our app. You'll be able to quickly and easily make campaigns for off Amazon platforms and easily analyze how these are doing as well. So once you kind of max out your Amazon focus, I actually listened to a competitor's webinar yesterday from Quartile, and they were talking about this, which kind of inspired me to talk about it a little bit. But it really shows you, like, once you get optimized on Amazon and you kind of hit a frontier, it's important to start looking into other off Amazon marketplaces and using your knowledge from Amazon to help you rank on those platforms as well. So really interested to talk to anyone who's been using this, had any success with this, or wants to experiment with that. Additionally, launching products is extremely difficult, and it's very difficult to, get reviews quickly and help increase other metrics not using sponsored advertising. So I wanted to let Jason now touch on one of his ranking tools that he's built in coincidence with the Amazon terms of service.
Yeah, and before I jump into that, I actually want to touch on two things Patrick just said, off Amazon to onto Amazon. But the reason to focus on Amazon first is to make sure that you have all the foundational pieces in place, right? You don't want to invest in driving traffic from Amazon onto Amazon if you're not sure that you're converting at a high rate. So you want to make sure you have all that optimized before you make the investment of bringing traffic onto Amazon and putting it onto Amazon. Also, we use Quartile. They cut sales in more than half. So if you're looking for an AI-based software, we obviously use Perpetua in our agency, but I would strongly recommend Perpetua way over Quartile. It was a terrible experience. So there wasn't enough flexibility in their process. And yeah, so getting back to promotional rebates, reviews are everything. It's the social proof. So without that, it can be hard to get traction, especially in hyper-competitive niches. So one strategy, among others, is to use promotional rebates, manufacturer's rebates, which is a practice that is more or less as old as retail. But you have to do it the right way. So the way it works is you're driving traffic from off Amazon onto Amazon on pre-selected keywords. So you're using a Facebook ad or an email to say, hey, click this link, then go to Amazon and search this word, or click this URL, which tells Amazon you search this keyword. The customer purchases, which increases your conversion rate, as Patrick said, one of the biggest factors in the algorithm. And then they submit their information to be eligible for a rebate, which they get after the order ships. So you're spiking your conversion rate, and they're also eligible to leave a review, but you have to do it within terms of service. So you can't condition a rebate on a review. They have to get the rebate as long as they don't cancel the order, right? And you can't review gate. It's against Amazon's terms of service. So you can't ask people whether or not they had a good experience and only tell the people who had a good experience to leave a review. You have to ask everyone. So we find the concept of reciprocity holds. If you do something nice for someone, they're more willing to do something nice for you. And if they for some reason have a bad experience, they'll let you know directly why. So we built ZonRanker to automate the process of doing these product launches. So we used to spend hours and hours setting up chat flows, Facebook ads, verifying order IDs, issuing rebates. So we've automated the process after you drive traffic. So there's no more chatbot setup or verifying order IDs or issuing rebates. It's all automated and all within TOS. And we find the best effect between these launches and combine them with the top of search. And we see incredible results. So Amazon's looking for you to to get a boost in every way possible. And if you can show Amazon that you can drive traffic from off Amazon and convert, and you can convert the traffic that you're getting on Amazon, that's how you're going to get the biggest lift. That's why I call it the cyclone effect.
Great. So now we are going to open it up.
Flip it back to Patrick.
Thanks for that, Jason. Now we're going to flip to Q&A. So any questions any of you guys have about listings, product pages, store pages, ranking strategies, just shoot us a question in the Q&A section on the bar within Zoom. I think we just got one in here. Let me just read it here. Does your engine optimize for organic rank? Our engine currently doesn't optimize for organic rank. We ask you for a variety of parameters that the engine then goes and optimizes to. But I'd say in the next, call it 9 to 12 weeks, we will have the ability for clients to set in those types of recommendations. So if you want to try to rank first organically, you could tell that to our engine, and then our AI will go out and actually make the necessary changes in campaigns to try to rank you first organically. We have another one. Does Zon Ranker work for vendors?
So currently, it's not depend. We have to do a custom build out because you don't get the order ID information in Vendor Central. So there's no way to authenticate the order IDs. So we have to do some customization. So the answer is yes, but you have to contact us directly. Because it's built for Seller Central to verify order IDs, which you don't have in Vendor Central.
Cool. We got one from Leonardo here. Can I use bid multiplier for top of search at the ad group level? Yes, you can. But we generally recommend launching, and I recommend launching on individual keyword campaigns because you just you become more granular and you can actually easily analyze the results of that. If you apply a top of search multiplier on an ad group containing 10, 20, 30 keywords, you're going to kind of influence that on all of the keywords where you might not want to be ranking for. So it's better to create these individual campaigns so you can quantify each keyword and make sure that your investment is worth it. But Leonardo, the answer is yes, you could do that. JJ, is your program meant to use themselves or we need your team to manage it? You can use our program yourself. We are an app. Our goal is to make it as easy as posting a photo on Instagram as it is to run a top of search campaign, as it is to launch a sponsored brand video campaign. So if you guys explore our app at all, you'll see just how easy that is. And we really pride ourselves on being a very consumer-friendly app for people to use and to really drive the world's best Amazon strategies. How much should you spend in a ranking campaign with no positive effects before quitting? Generally, I'd say you should see some influence within the first 7 days. If you spend a lot of money in 7 days and you see no results, something is wrong. So I'd recommend monitoring. I wouldn't even start monitoring for the first 48 hours because of the attribution window. So there's nothing that we can definitively say after 48 hours. On the third day, go in, see how it's doing, make some small changes. So within our app, that might be saying bid 5% higher, 10% higher. Within Amazon, that might be increasing it 10 cents, 20 cents. And then within, another 48 hours, you should see, is this working or not? So I'd say 7 days to say yes or no, it's worth continuing. But then really, if it is working and you're seeing some initial positive results, try to fine tune it for like a month, I'd say. So the answer is, if it's not working if there's no good results within a week, stop it. If you see some change, then worth experimenting for a month. We have another one here for bullet.
And also,
oh, sorry, go ahead, Jason.
I was saying it also might be an indicator if you're getting some results but not enough that you're not ready to go after that keyword yet. You might need more reviews or You might need to make some tweaks in your listing. So is your click-through rate good, but you're not getting enough conversions? That tells you there's something wrong with your landing page. Is your click-through rate not good? That tells you you don't have enough reviews, or maybe your main image needs to be optimized. So you have to look at the data a little more closely as well.
Great. We have another one for you here, Jason. For bullets within listings, we've heard that it's important to include keywords and utilize most, if not all, the space Amazon provides. You mentioned the importance of short and simple bullets. Is it important to include keywords, or is it more important to briefly highlight key points?
So I think the answer is you have to strike a balance. Again, you can see the character required. If you click on edit listing in the man inventory page, and you go to the tab where you can edit the bullet points, you'll see a little information symbol or question symbol, I forget. If you hover over it, it'll tell you the character or the byte limit for each of the bullet points. So know what that is when you go to write the bullet points. And you want to adhere to that. So if you're in a subcategory where you're allowed 500 bytes per bullet point, which is a lot, you have to make a decision. And you can split test and see what performs better. But keep in mind that Amazon has pushed everyone to, simplify, do less. They've brought the character counts down, and they want content to be more engaging and less cumbersome. So really the answer is you have to strike a balance. Remember that you have 250 bytes for the search terms in the back end, and you can make up those keywords there. So again, it's all about finding a balance.
Great. And I think we have time for one last one. What percentage of budget would you recommend utilizing for a top of search campaign? And at what ACoS? Generally, I'd say one, in terms of ACoS or bid price, bid more aggressively than you are currently bidding. So if you were bidding $5 on that keyword across all placements, maybe bid $2, but apply a 300-400% multiplier. So you're bidding $6 to $8. So bidding more aggressively than you are currently bidding. And then in terms of budget, generally, it's going to be case to case dependent based on what you're currently spending and how much you can spend. But I'd say give it a healthy budget in the sense of 15 to 20% of what you are spending on that campaign as a whole across all your keywords. Just because if you're attacking a high volume keyword, the second you start buying those impressions, if you have that click-through rate, you're going to start spending a lot more. So just being able to not make your campaigns go dark too early on. Sweet. So I think that just about wraps it up. Again, if you guys have any questions about anything we've talked about, feel free to shoot me or Jason a message, and we'll be happy to help you talk about your strategies and really make sure you're set up for the most success you can have on Amazon.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. Later, guys.